Well, hello, people. Good to see everybody here on this beautiful Sunday. I'd love to know what people are having for brunch. I haven't started my brunch yet. Hello to our moderator extraordinaire, Noelle. Thank you for giving of your time today. I appreciate it. Thank you, Larry Girl, as well, for moderating. So let us deal with the business at hand, shall we? The first things first, I just need to get a shout out from everybody that the sound is okay. And then we can continue on. Okay. My chat is doing something bizarre, as it always does. But that's okay. Let me open you up in another. Just so that I can get started. Looks like it's a busy Sunday. It looks like Sterling and Linda also did something, so that's cool. Why is this doing that? Okay. Yeah, there we go. Hi, everybody, Sarah and everybody. It looks like, for whatever reason, my chat. Oh, it's back to normal again. All right. So let me give a quick shout out to everybody. I know I've got terrible eyesight. I'm like leaning in, which is supposed to be bad manners. Thank you, everybody who donated questions or so that we can get started. How's everybody feeling about the chaos of September? Pretty wild, huh? Yeah, not much fun. Got a frog in my throat, which happens every time I come out of the shower. Okay, so we got a couple things to do today. You guys asked a lot of really good questions. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about the remote viewing that I did a while ago, or actually I did it a couple of days ago. I just checked in, but yeah, I went live to look at the rally. I looked at it on YouTube, excuse me. And 1,000 people didn't show up. And I heard nothing. I fell asleep early and slept like a rock. So I don't think it turned out to be much of anything. Who knows? All right. So the first thing that I did a remote view on that is kind of like going back to what we had done before is this meditation that was done a couple of months ago about the meat industry and emerging evidence that's going to come out that the powers that be, the people that owned the Smithfield plant and the other plants, as well as the FDA, Food and Drug, etc., did not adequately, they knew about the risk and did not adequately protect the workers. So I really appreciate the exposés that Rachel Maddow has done on this case, because it's one of the reasons why I gave up eating meat was the fact that, you know, you can have the most organic, humanely raised meat in the world, but if the workers in the plants are being paid slave wages to put their lives at risk so that you can have I can have something, you know, a piece of chicken, then I just personally don't think it's worth it. So that was one of the reasons. There were a lot of reasons I gave it up, the animals, etc. But what happened in Smithfield was kind of the last straw for me personally. So they were fined because of their violation, something like less than $30,000. I think Thousands of people were infected with COVID. I think as of, what is it, 200 people have since died. And the people who died many of them did not work at Smithfield. They were relatives of people that worked in Smithfield that had compromised immune systems and died because they were exposed to someone who worked in the plant. And so that's something that people aren't getting. Oh, I'm fine. I can get it. I'm going to be absolutely fine. They still don't understand that this is a contagious disease. So expect more civil suits and actions coming out about that. I think it's going to be a really major issue that there are supposed to be protections in place for people that work in slaughterhouses. And for whatever reason, the system failed the people that worked there. So I'm anticipating a lot of civil lawsuits from that. I'm also expecting that there's going to be a lot of investigations in the meat industry as well while we see multiple lawsuits, which brings up the issue that people had asked about why I feel we're going to be phasing out meat and, what about raising meat humanely? It's just not a good resource management. You have people like Elon Musk that are talking about having pastures. We can grow cows up in outer space. Every time I think about that, I think about cows in spacesuits floating around. I just, who doesn't like filet mignon? But I don't know if I like it that much. But the problem is that you have to clear land to grow soybeans and grain, etc., to feed the cattle. So even if you were growing organic soybeans, even if you were growing organic foods to feed the cattle, if everybody wants to eat meat, you would need a tremendous amount of land just to grow the food to feed the animals. Yes, you can reduce the methane by feeding them seaweed, but that increases the CO2, which is less warming than methane, but it's still a problem. So it's lack of resources, it's not protecting the worker. There's so many reasons why it's being phased out. But as a result of these lawsuits, we're also going to be seeing the question of just how much the American people are able or willing to bail out the meat industry. And I know that Cory Booker is working very hard. He's a vegan. There's a lot of vegans actually working in DC these days, including Adam Schiff. He's working to change the laws. And then there's a couple of other remotes I did about just the general election. One of the things that I was concerned about, we talked about like the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario is that Biden gets the nomination, and then due to ill health, he's not able to complete his campaign. And if there's enough dissatisfaction with his running mate, then theoretically, by default, Trump could win the election. So that was the worst case scenario. And that's the scenario that everybody's looking at. The reason why people think about it is because something very similar happened in Germany in the 1930s when we saw the rise of fascism in Germany. I believe it was the chancellor died. He was too old. He was forced to run again. And he died, and Hitler took control of Germany. So I think that was why people were starting to make that connection. So absolutely, people had asked if I could please throw on Biden's health, because we know Trump's health's not good. So yes, I will look at that. And then the last thing people had asked me to tune into was Ivanka. This is just the remote views. We haven't gotten to the blitzes yet. And for Ivanka, I keep getting a child around her, or a possibility of another child, but I don't see her staying in DC. And I think that she could be able to slip out of these legal problems, but I think it's going to continue to haunt her. All right. So that is the remote. How's everybody holding up? Ew, human in training. How lovely. Thank you for your donation. You're awfully sweet. So, anybody have any comments about what the remotes were, about why, do we continue to bail out the meat industry every time they go bankrupt, every time there's a hurricane, cleaning up the waste that sometimes leaks into the watershed, dying employees? We could be seeing a point at which America just doesn't want to pay for it anymore. If you read Oryx and Crank by Margaret Atwood, she talked about the early experiments into growing meat from stem cells, and it's a pretty funny dystopian story. But the main character shows up at a friend's house, and they're eating chicken McNubbies, which are made from stem cells in this futuristic society. And the main character says, "How can you eat that frankenfood? That's disgusting." And his friends say, "It tastes exactly the same. It's chicken breast. It's just, there's no genetic difference. Why not try it?" So he has one or two beers and he's hanging out with his friends and he says, "Oh, what the heck, I'll try it. Got the munchies." He tastes the chicken McNubbies and he says, "It's actually not that bad." And then in the following scene, he's putzing around on his computer and he's munching on chicken McNubbies. So I think that what Margaret Atwood was touching on in the story is that things quickly become our normal. And when or if this happens, it will probably just become our normal. Thank you so much, Tamara. Oh, yes, the environment. We did give quite a bit to the environment this month. Isn't it nice to hang out with philanthropists? Yes. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do a quick prayer so that we just bring us all together into the collective. Let's all kind of come closer to the storyteller, right? And we're going to do a simple prayer to just kind of bring us together. This collective reading, which you're seeing at the time you see it, will be relevant to you. And what we're going to try and do is just see if there's a message from Spirit for all of us. So we're going to do a reading for all of us, and then we're going to spend about 30 minutes on blitzes, 40 minutes on blitzes. Sound good, everybody? And be sure and tell me what you're having for brunch. All right, I want to call on white light protection for myself and my viewers as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic record. We call on our spirit guides and good angels to be with us. Give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys, to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, for the planet, for the people we love, but also to help those we have strife with. And together we say, Amen. All right, let's go in. Kugel, yummy, yum, yum. Green salad, yummy. I'm going to be having a green smoothie with ORAC protein and greens, a little bit of goat's yogurt, frozen berries, chia, walnuts, oat milk, a little bit of rice milk. That's my morning breakfast. Crepes. Scrambled eggs. Ooh. So, wow, I think we should all go over to Stephen's house because Stephen's having a real brunch. Stephen, how many chairs do you have? Got room for me? All right. Okay, so the first thing that they're talking about when we go into this energy is that the group kind of went through a period of having all this energy and we really didn't know where we were headed. We really didn't know what we wanted to do when we grew up. There's this feeling like we have all this energy and all these things we want to do, but we don't necessarily know how to make them happen. You can see the Seven of Cups is the collective energy we share, which is, where do I go? Where do I go? Do I go here? Do I go there? Oh, the Nazis are marching. Oh, COVID is hitting. Oh, the economy is crashing. Oh, there are fires. So it doesn't surprise me that we've got a Seven of Cups energy. Like, where do we start? And you can see what's nice here is that our karma card is the Magician card. You start where you're at. You know, if you feel like you have too much on your plate, if you feel like you've got, it's like, oh, I can't even, it's too much, it's too much. This is why human beings disassociate. This is why human beings go into fantasy. This is why we love movies and entertainers and storytellers. It's to get away from all of this. And absolutely, that's precisely what we should be doing. Entertain yourself, watch Netflix, and take a break, but then come back and do your part to fix the situation. So it's easy to spin off into fantasy. Well, maybe there's something metaphysical. Well, or it could just be that the sociopaths have run amok and we all need to do our part to clean up the mess. But I like the fact that Magician is coming in for us, because Magician is a power card, which means, okay, now I know what I have to do. I have to be about my business. An example would be, I'm a naturopathic doctor. And I remember saying to a professor in medical school, well, what should I study after I, graduate? And the professor said, everything. Everything? I should study everything? Come on, man. It's like, medicine's a bottomless pit. Just like throw the dart and see what sticks. So what I learned from that is that it's easy to become overwhelmed when you want to do something in your life, but you have to start from where you're at, and from where you're at, your foundation, your roots become stronger and stronger and stronger. For me, I had to start where I was at, and where I was at was the herbs, the medicine, the meditation, altered states, healings, therapy, natural medicine. Those were the things that I was attracted to, and I just am expanding from that. That's my world, and I am sticking to it. Now, sometimes that world, I get pulled into other issues or other conditions, and I have to go beyond, that's when you expand your knowledge outward. So Magician means that I think many of us are just starting to understand the place at which we're going to begin. You can see here also for the group, a nice card coming in. And this is the card we associate with philanthropy, somebody who's trying to help. So the group is also going through a period where we're all trying to volunteer. The good news is you can volunteer while lying in your own bed. You can volunteer by attending Zoom conferences. They're doing Zoom conferences, different activism groups. There's so many ways, even from the safety of your own home, that you can be a part of the change. Pick something that you feel strongly about, that resonates with you, and begin to take control over that. Keep your own desk clean. Keep your own office clean. But look at this wonderful energy that's coming up for us. It's the Six of Pentacles, which would suggest that many of us in the group are not only able to keep the rain at bay, to keep our own self in order, but we're now starting to enter into a position where we not only know who we are and where we're going, we also know how to help. And that it is our karma to help. You can see the Philanthropist card here over the Wheel of Fortune. It's kind of like it was always Whimsy's destiny to be a naturopathic doctor and to be a philanthropist. I just didn't know how I was going to make it happen because I wasn't rich. But I really, really, really wanted to be a philanthropist. And then the universe, I was chanting. I chant, right? I chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. I try to bring out the best in myself. And I was able, through mindfulness, to find an answer to the problem. Great, just start a YouTube channel. So where there's a will, there's a way. But you can see this nice philanthropy card coming in, and then it's the karma. So there's this karma aspect. And because the people that watch this channel and watch the commercials are philanthropists, because that money goes into a pot, and then we collectively as a group make intelligent decisions about where it has to go. It's a karma that we share. And so the benefits of the karma, everybody who watches this channel has to some extent become part of that. Isn't that cool? And we're co-creating it. Everybody has a voice. Everybody talks about what they want to see from the channel. And we are co-creating this community of philanthropy, positive energy, helping others, finding out who we are in the great scheme of things and how we can help. What sits above us, the thing above us, is decisions that have to be made. We've got a huge judgment coming up regarding what we sit in, our ethos. How do you attract good people in your life? By getting your own ethos in order. It's what you sit in. A strong sense also of justice, or a moral sense of right and wrong. You can see both of these are judgment cards, the justice card and the judgment card, and a karma card. So there's some aspect to the people here where we feel a sense of justice or a moral responsibility to pursue justice. Also here, Ace of Swords, which can be going into battle, winning a battle. And then the near future for us is Three of Wands, waiting for your ship to come in, connections overseas. This group could be potentially expanding its connections or communication beyond just where you're living. And again, I think it has to do with the collective of the group. We're now communicating with one another, but some of us live in France, some of us live in Australia, some of us live in England, Scotland, Ireland. You know, we live all over the world, and yet we have been able to form a community. Three of Wands has been called the wish card, in the sense that you get your wish, waiting for your ship to come in. It can also often be read by me as communication abroad. It can also be an island, looking to an island. I'll use it for that trigger. I have a customer who I did a remote viewing for yesterday. She had business on an island, and she kept pulling this card, and it was, and we were accessing information about her situation on an island. So I used this card to get in. What's interesting is that we now are in the Hierophant. So I love this for the 7th house. So I just feel like we have a real clear idea of what our ethics, and I know that just the last couple of days, I've had some amazing breakthroughs, which I've been able to share with the group about my own spiritual growth. But look at this sense of right and wrong, that went into battle, won, and now looking to expand, waiting for the ship to come in. There's more of an international reaching out to a broader coalition. Hierophant, how we look towards God and spirit, the world around us, going into victory. We are building an army, right? We got our own house in order. We went about our business. We started plugging in and connecting to other people who were doing the same thing. We got organized. We refused to argue and turn this into a personality cult. We're not doing that here. We're adults. We can agree to disagree. But everybody is kind of fighting the good fight. This is a 6-month card. I keep seeing like major changes in the country over the next 6 months, and it's for the best. And the final outcome, we have emerged. Look at this, the perfect judge, the leader. And that is why Spirit said, get your house in order. Look how we emerge. My way. I did the work. Follow me. Now we work. You know the work. You know what you were put here to do. Get busy. You're going to be okay financially. So am I. We're going to be very okay financially. Spirit's going to take care of you because you're aligned with the natural order. If you're working on the environment, if you're working on not hurting people, if you're working at cooperation, if you're really working your tuchus off to get your home and your life in order, let me tell you, you're going to be just fine. Also, if you want partnership, if you're trying to attract somebody who's on a higher vibration, that could happen for you this year, because I'm seeing a lot of partnership cards for people. All right, we're going to open it up to conversation now. Oh, thank you, Anna. Very sweet of you. Yes, the animal charities. We gave the Hope for Paws again this month. And evidently they've been really busy, because a lot of people in California have lost their homes, or they're on the street. The homeless, the people that were practically homeless, they've basically abandoned many of their animals. And so they're finding abandoned animals all over the greater Los Angeles area, because unfortunately for many people, having an animal, if you're extremely poor, is a luxury. So thank you to everyone that has helped support that. Oh, thank you, Super Queen Bee. There's a Queen of Wands for you. That's the Queen of Wands energy, right? The busy bee. Did everybody enjoy their collective reading? Looks like we're getting stronger. The group is getting a lot stronger. All right, we're going to go into the blitzes now. And the first, did we? We did, yeah, we did the collective prayer. Make sure we did that. Okay, so the first thing is that everyone was really wanting the most. Oh, thank you, Rachel. That's very kind. Oh, Emma. Thank you. Thank you for watching the channel. So listen, everybody, I'm getting the most questions from all of you about election meddling. Oh dear. Let's just do a deep dive. We'll use the cards, but I'm going to see if I can do a little. I'll see if I can do a little bit of a remote view. I'll show you how I scan a map, and the energy we're looking for is that theft energy. You know how you feel when someone does something, like you're gaslit or you're theft? That's the energy you're going to be looking for. And so what you're going to do is you can take your right hand, right? And you can take an image of a particular state. Say we're looking in Florida, and you've got an image of the congressional districts, and you're looking for that sensation because you're a heart-centered remote viewer. So we're not the same type of remote viewer. We're looking for the emotions that are evoked when we go into a particular space. Does everybody get how we are different? How you can't, if you're hiring an empathic or a heart-centered remote viewer, this is particularly for the business owners. It's a different type of, look, we can get into the documents, but we get into the documents because the person that we're accessing, the Cohens of the world or whoever is emotionally attached to what we're accessing. So it's just a different way of accessing stuff. All right, let's look at election meddling. You guys had so many good questions. Does anybody have a particular state like Florida they want me to do a grid on? To scan a grid? Florida, I've been getting a lot of questions about Florida. Let's go ahead and just put the cards out, and then I'll go ahead and scan Florida. And then I'll show you how I do it. This is for the group that's interested in learning the heart-centered remote viewing technique. Also, I had a question. I've had several people that say they want to go into training. So I'm thinking of doing like once or twice a month, a training class live. So if anybody wants to do a training class, let me know. You can leave a note or you can email me. We can see about it's free. I don't charge for that. All right, so I don't think there's going to be scanning. I don't think let's take a look. How we doing? Everybody see that okay? This is the question of election meddling. And this is the Eastern card, right? Going to the East. 2 of Wands is my Pacific Northwest card. He's looking towards the West. He's looking towards the East. But let me just go ahead and read the cards, and then afterwards we'll go ahead and we'll do a scan. It looks to me, because you have a high priestess sitting in the third house. That's something. Well, let's talk about the basis first. There could be the main concern we have about election meddling actually has to do with it's traced back to the money. You can see a money card here, 7 of Pentacles, which can be how someone's harvesting their coin, how someone's taking in the coin. The most common form of election meddling looks to be just entirely legal, which is trying to outspend each other. Commercials, etc. Whoever outspends the other wins. So there's this financial competition about whoever has the money takes control of the narrative. Then what's over the situation is trying to heal a situation that looks like a civil war. You can see the 5 of Wands here, fighting, arguing, attempting to heal a situation. Real concerns about civil war. I've talked about this in the past, that the cable news stations are not helping the situation. They're actually feeding this flame of people fighting. Information coming out, the keeper of secrets or the opening of the eyes. Also, I've talked about family secrets and inheritance with the 10 of Pentacles. Yes, it's an inheritance card, but there's an aspect to it. Anytime you have family inheritance, it can sometimes be dog eat dog, people whispering and spying. Sometimes gossip or spying I sometimes associate with this card, not just inheritance. And sometimes we inherit things from our family that's not necessarily, it can be just inheriting mental illness. It doesn't, depending upon the cards that are attached to it, but it's an inheritance card. Fighting, inheriting a situation that's possibly look, it indicates a situation of fighting, but you have and 3 of Wands is coming in with an Emperor card, which would lead me to suggest, because both of these are cards that have to do with objective reality, I think it's going to be very hard to steal this election. Also, the fact that Ace of Wands is coming in, which is a power card, partnerships coming in, hopes and fears, who will give up the election, Page of Wands. I think Biden's going to win, and I think that it's going to be very difficult for the thief. Got a thief card here, hopes and prayers, and then the offer. So I think the thief flees. But when you're doing a scan and you know the emotion you're looking for, in this case, fear and theft, you would open up the map, the congressional map, and then what I do is I start feeling over the map to see if I get that disturbing, icky feeling, because what I'm picking up is the emotions of the people in that district or that area who may have had a problem. So I can tell you right now that the first problem I'm hitting is actually Northwest Florida. And the reason why I think I'm picking up, this is Matt Gaetz's area. Pensacola, that area, there's a lot of irregularities. The main problem with that area seems to be a lot of people are not, a lot of people that should be registered in that area are not registered. They're making it very easy for homeowners, certain people, but there's some disparity in that area with who's registered to vote. That was the first thing I picked up. The other thing I'm picking up, it's interesting when you go into the Mar-a-Lago area, when you scan in that area, there's so many criminal investigations of the people that made up that world, that made up the whole South Beach energy. It's like it's falling apart. It was in its height in the 80s and 90s. It just seems to have fallen apart. And a lot of people have moved on. It's just no longer what it was. And a lot of people are moving. It looks like some of the people that were part of that group and that lifestyle have moved away from that area and found islands or other communities where there's less surveillance. And we're going to see some problems with election meddling. It looks like in the south eastern. So we had election meddling district in the northwest, along the southeast. It looks like there's some irregularities. And yeah, I don't think it's going to come to anything. I think they're going to try. I don't think it's going to succeed. I think we may still take Florida. So that is how a remote viewer scans. You're looking for the emotion. Okay. Was that cool? You know, it's interesting when you go into the emotion, instead of finding this massive stealing of instead, I found all these people on the defensive who are like running from the feds and shutting everything down and looking to move out of there. I didn't have a chance to look at their stuff, but I really enjoy the Sundays with Sterling. I think they do a really great job. It's very entertaining and it's very informative. Okay, we're going to go ahead now. We're going to continue, and people want to know about the stimulus check. Angles off. It's going to happen with the stimulus check. All right. It could take a while. There's something going on October 13th. You can go ahead and put that in your calendars. There's some type of major movement, possibly release of money by October 13th, because that's the date I'm getting. You can see Chariot, which would suggest movement as the base card, with a 10 of Pentacles, which is the legacy card, of course. But it's also got that negative side to it. You can see here attempts to heal, also concerns about international relationships, our standing abroad. Ooh, feelings of being a little tied in knots. I don't think that Congress is very happy right now. Yeah, we can see a Six of Swords moving in, concern about the budget, hopes and fears poverty, possibly because of this. Yeah, because we're all in the same place in terms of the ethos. I feel like there's a softening here. They may wait until October in order to manipulate voters. There's this feeling like they hold off. And then when they realize it's going to hurt their election chances, we could see some kind of relief coming in. Clarification. See, it feels to me like it almost has a political aspect. Yeah, we're going to be, yeah, we'll get something, but we may have to wait until mid-October to actually start receiving checks. Wow. All right, so I did another scan. I didn't want you guys to see it, but had my thing open. I did another scan of Missouri and specifically the economy for Missouri. People had asked me about Missouri, if it was a swing state, could it go blue? It could very possibly go blue this year. And the area with the strongest economy I got was mostly in the northeastern area of Missouri. But I'm concerned about the economy and economic collapses for Missouri in the southwest of the state. And specifically, we're worried about winds and drought. So when we're talking about the environmental impact of the drought, Dust Bowl, etc., for the Missouri-Kansas area, because I had done this technique for Missouri last night, it was the southwest area. We're also seeing droughts and a loss of rain in connected to that in New Mexico, Arizona, Texas, Kansas, southeast Kansas, Oklahoma as well. Be prepared for dry weather, fires and drought in southwest and possibly parts of southeastern Missouri. Okay, so that a person had asked, will Missouri be turned blue again? Yes, it's very possible. Okay, somebody had asked if I could look at Steve Bannon because it kind of disappeared. You know, he got arrested, which is a really big deal, and it was another thing linked to Donald Trump. But nobody. Then they just stopped talking about him. So yeah, let's find out what Steve Bannon is up to. Is everybody having fun? Yeah, it's a free class. We just have to work out what day works best for people. I'll go live and we'll do it. The more remote viewers, the better. I got a bad feeling about this. Well, you know, it's interesting. The first thing you see when you go into Steve Bannon's energy is that his career might be over. You can see here his base card is a 5 of Swords walking away from a battle he can't win. And look at this, 9 of Swords. Remember when I had said that they were arresting the informants and that the informants thought that they were safe? So the Fed said, yeah, we won't get you on that. We just need you to be an informant. So all these people started informing, thinking that they were going to be safe with the Feds. And they were safe with the Feds. The Feds didn't charge them with that. They charged them with something else. And so then they started arresting all these informants, whether it was Ghislaine Maxwell, who probably is responsible for convincing Epstein to fly back to the United States from France. He was probably staying with her at the time. We remote on that. Now we're seeing the same thing with Bannon. He was secretly giving information. We thought that his tail was safe, but alas, it was not. But he always comes as an informant, like he's secretly giving information to the Feds. He is smart. He's highly educated. I mean, the guy went to MIT. He also worked for the Pentagon, which is why I've always gotten confusing energy from him. But you can see the nice Hermit card there, scholarship card. It's a knowledge card, and it has to do with the world. So this, I always feel like this guy, I always feel like spy energy with him. Like there's something going on internationally with him, that he's communicating with people internationally. That's almost like He's deep in covers. It's just this weird energy every time I go in with Bannon. It's almost like he's a double agent or something. It's very strange. Like there's only so much they can do to him because he seems to be working both sides of it. You wonder what he really believes in. Oh, fear of possible jail or legal action against him, I think, with the Nine of Wands moving in, which is to be cornered. He thinks he's coming into smoother waters. Something about him, his relationships with money abroad. I know that he got arrested on a Chinese businessman's yacht, so this may be about some international dealings. The guy's yacht, who he got arrested on, wants to overthrow the Chinese government. And he wants to instill the new Tang dynasty, which is the name of this Chinese guy's media company. In his broken brain, he thinks he's going to be the next emperor of China. But sure, why not? As long as you pay Steve Bannon, you can be the next emperor of China. But that was the whole scenario that the police, the feds came upon when they arrested this guy. His situation's changed dramatically. He's in a death card spiral, a new beginning. Owie, owie. He's going to come out of this, but it's almost like I don't know if his cover's been blocked. Yeah, see, I tell you, this guy's an informant or a spy or something. He's given the information. Something's going on with this guy. I don't see him doing prison time. I don't see prison time. I see information supplied to the feds and him some kind of cooperation and possibly getting off. I see that all the time when I look at Bannon's cards. All right, so I was asked if I could look at the judge. What is the name of this new judge that just got appointed by Trump? She's devout Catholic. All right, Amy Barrett. Let's take a look at Judge Amy. All right, well, Judge Amy, get on the bench. I was hoping she's the handmaiden. Yes. Our hero handmaiden, yes. She prays a lot. In her mind, she feels she's, this is kind of like the energy you feel when you're in a monastic environment and then people are taking a meditative retreat to think about their life. I call it the samadhi card. It's to be as still as samadhi, to be in a state of meditation. What's moving in is the Hermit card. So again, this is someone who is deep in thought, deep in a state of meditation. Whether we agree with her politically or not, that's her state right now. Blind justice. Two of Swords is somebody who refuses to hear, see, speak, carries heavy swords. They're someone who has made a situation difficult for themselves. They're the one carrying the heavy sword, but their refusal to look at the situation is what is creating the problem for them. So this is someone who has, through their own rigid thinking or refusal to think outside the box, has put themselves in a situation that's unpleasant. So this will not go easy for her. This is somebody who she'll be put through the ringer. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's almost like they plan on terrorizing her so that she leaves with her tail between her legs. I mean, this is possibly yeah. feeling like this person was a thief or that they attempted to steal something that didn't belong to them. You can see the thief's card, and it doesn't belong to her. So she's confused about the hostility. You know, she goes into the situation thinking that she's being very sober, meditating, the scholar. You know, this is like the Catholic scholar's energy, meditation, knowledge. And then she comes into this environment of just intense hostility. Her family's very proud of her. Her family's celebrating. There's COVID. It's going to affect. They're not. There are luncheons and dinners and certain events they usually offer someone, or someone gets to experience when they've become a judge of the Supreme Court. That's probably going to get canceled because of COVID. She may, if it gets to be if there's too much opposition and if there's too much anger, she could choose to turn it down because the Hanged Man comes. It depends on how she feels. Look, Kavanaugh stuck with it, but we really fought. Here, she may just choose to walk away because she's not somebody that really wants to be in this situation. She's a lot more sensitive than Kavanaugh. You can see this Ten of Swords over her could result in her throwing in the towel. So I don't think it's decided yet. I think it has to do with the but it doesn't, look, us beating up some, this is a good person who's doing what she thinks is right based on her internal belief systems. This is not, I'm not getting the devil. Look, sometimes you can be thinking you have the best of intentions. You're just on the wrong side of history, But I don't get that this is a bad person. This is someone who's trying to practice based on her convictions. And I don't think she realizes I don't think she realizes what's coming. I think to some extent she's living in a bubble and she doesn't realize what's coming. Yeah, so she's saying, exactly, David. So she's hanging around with her group and they all feel this way and they're all really happy for her and congratulations and the family's all proud. And then she walks into DC and is completely shocked at the response. And it's so hostile, she may just say, this is not for me. That's what the energy looks like. Now, she may stick with it. She may get enough emotional support from her supporters that she sticks with it. But where the energy is headed, she very likely could hang it up just to avoid that. That was my interpretation of the cards. You have your interpretation, but I would find it difficult to interpret it any other way just because the crossing card, which is the conflict, similar to the a karma card, was Ten of Swords, and then the Hangman is the outcome. So the fact that she's wedged between those types of cards makes me think she could choose to walk away from this if it gets to be too hostile. Yes, she wants it, but not like this in the middle of a controversial election with people sending her hate mail. Okay. So people had asked if I would check if Mitch McConnell is going to get reelected. Yeah, I have no idea. Let's just check and see if Mitch McConnell is going to get reelected. We got through a lot of blitzes today, didn't we? Thanks, Ginny. Possibly not. I know he's ahead 15 points, but his cards are terrible. He's got an 8 of Swords pushing in, which means that he has basically, you know what he did? He put himself in a situation, he's bound to the devil and now he can't get out of it. In plainer words, he tied himself to a sinking Titanic, and now he's going down with the ship. That's the best way for me to describe it. You can see the Devil card is to be chained to a relationship, an unhealthy relationship. When they tied themselves to this president, they really created quite a situation. He knows that he has put himself in a situation that's less than positive by being linked to this person. It's a losing campaign, and it's starting to look pretty pathetic at this point. Anybody have a positive interpretation of those base cards? I don't think so. He does work hard. 10 of Wands. Look at that, fleeing. See, his cards are not good for re-election. It's almost like this guy wants to get the heck out of there. Get me out of here. Look at this. He's under some kind of investigation or watch group. Look at that, 9 of Wands is in his... There's something going on that we don't know about where people are closing in on Mitch Mcconnell. Look at that, a 9 of Wands. He's worried about, he's defensive. He's trying to flee. There's something about his work. He's under scrutiny. Something's going on with him. He may be in trouble. Look, family secrets card in the 3rd house. Something's going on. Something's going on. He turned down an offer. He wants to have a new beginning. Remember what we always see when we do a remote? The only thing that he'll ever say to me when I go into a remote, it's all about the courts. It's all about the courts. It's all about the courts. Yeah, I mean, he wanted it to be his legacy. He wanted the courts to be his legacy. He wanted something to survive even when he was gone. And he felt that the way to do it was to protect the courts. Again, this is his perspective, what he considers to be good, which is the courts. It's the only world he's ever known. I don't get victory. If he does win, it's a hollow win. He's going to be sitting in the back row of the future Senate. I mean, the 4 of Swords here is the outcome. In the grave, a judgment. This guy could still lose. Whether it's because of the Breonna Taylor conviction, I know that, like everywhere, Kentucky people are registering. There are all these people that were never registered. People are so outraged. But a judgment, it could be the shock of the campaign season is him losing. He's actually not doing as well as people think. I'm very surprised to see that because, look, if he wins, it's a hollow victory or he loses. I'm going to do Amy McGrath because I need to find out what the perspective is. We're going to run a little late today. You know how it goes. Whimsy gets... I wake up, I have my morning coffee, and then I just have to keep going. Oh, Edward. You naughty boy, Edward. Thank you. Edward the Psychic. Yes. Another remote viewer, I suppose. Now, Edward, are you a heart-centered remote? Are you an empath, or do you use a traditional? I'm curious. We got our little tiny group here, like the remote viewers that use the regular technique. They got their group, and then the heart-centered empaths, they all hang out with me. We're better than you are. Everybody's got their technique. I'm just teasing. I haven't sung the I Got It Right yet. That song, I Got It Right. So somebody had said, when's the military going to make a big announcement? Well, Marie's Table got that right. That the military is basically saying the president's trying to have a coup. He's trying to steal an election. Don't worry. He's not our president. If he loses, he's not our president. So yeah, they could put hands on him and drag him out of there because he's not the president. He lost the election. So they don't have to follow his orders. And right. What were we looking at? Oh yeah, Amy McGrath. Get to talking and I forget what I'm doing. Is everyone having fun? Have they debated yet? Aw, Edward, you're so generous. She's very thoughtful before she does something. You can see the Four of Swords as the base of the matter, but it's in the grave, but it's also a thought-provoking. There's a Devil card there to be changed to an unhealthy relationship. Something's going to happen to her campaign. There's a Tower right over it, and defensive. So their campaign's about to get hit with something, if it hasn't already. Well, you know, this reminds me of some of the visions that Cash Peters has had when he has visions. Some heart-centered remote viewers have visions. I know, and some psychics and readers have visions. I know Violetta also has dreams and visions. But I feel she still can win because her cards in the near future, Three of Wands, is a strong foundation and Chariot. She needs to get out the vote. This person's getting attacked, and some of the attacks are based on lies or misinformation. And so she can't just sit back taking it. She's going to have to start fighting. What I'm noticing with some of the female candidates is they have to learn how to fight a little bit more than they've been doing. Feeling defensive here, hopes and fears that the campaign is already over. The Page of Swords, Archangel Michael to cut off. She is in a situation where she feels like she may have already lost the campaign, and I don't think that that's the best. She has to fight until the end, and I don't see that here. She's got to overcome this attack, and she has to begin to stand up non-apologetically and tell people what she believes in. Because the archetypes emerging, like Emperor, which is rational, grounded, Queen of Wands, who leads from a solid position, Six of Pentacles, I can help you get out of a difficult situation. She can still win, but she's got to stand for something, and she's got to start to fight back a little bit because she's getting hit very hard by Mitch Mcconnell's people. She's got a Tower in her first house. Okay, we're going to do one more throw, then we are going to call it a day. We're looking at Melania. What was the does anybody have a last question before we close? We had a ton of questions, but I didn't get to them all. What's the most? Which is what? Yeah, AOC knows how. RBG. She was very calm, very rational. The feathers were never ruffled. And she very slowly explained her position. Okay. Let's look at Texas, and then we're going to close. We did do the stimulus check, but it might not be released until around October 13th. No, Sandra, it does not. If you want alkaline water, put baking soda in your water. That's alkaline water. Save your money. It's just seltzer water. Now, an alkaline diet, that's another conversation. Texas. We already looked at Florida. Florida is probably not going to be able to have election meddling. it's not going as well as they had hoped. Remember I had said to keep your eyes on Texas because there was a lot of corruption I saw around Texas? God, this president's not doing too well, is he? What do you guys think? I think that we could see a lot of people walking away from this president. An offer is rejected. Walking away is the base card. Victory for the truth, right? This is the High Priestess is about the truth coming out, eyes being open over a victory card, self-examination and frugality, the economy being affected, new alliances. This can sometimes be cheating or stepping out. Could be that they go over to Biden. There's a lot of it had to do with changes in the financial situation and the fact that they walked away. Look at this. Walking away from a situation that leaves you in exile. It can be the termination of a relationship with someone that drags you down, a celebrate. He could lose Texas. It's very likely, actually, if things continue like this with hurricanes, everything else, there's a strong possibility people will switch over to Biden. Just because this lover, they're moonlighting with somebody else. The eyes open, there's a justice card here, a new beginning, Ace of Cups, a new offer. And the fact that they're done, they're tired, they're walking away. So either he loses Texas or there's a lot of down ballot rate. But this does not bode well for the Republican Party. Somebody's stepping out on you. All right, did everybody have fun? Did everybody enjoy their brunch? Oh no, I think we're gonna finish. It's already 12:10. We usually go for about an hour. We went a little late. Happy New Year to everybody. Happy easy fast to everybody. If you're going to be practicing Yom Kippur, if you're going to be practicing, what was it called? Celebrating. If you're going to be celebrating Yom Kippur. Thanks, everyone. If you are trying to get in for a tarot card reading, you can go to tarotwithwhimsy.com. If you need to see me, if you need a naturopathic doctor and you want to get on a general wellness program, I do that too. You can go to drwhimsy.com. I would love to help. You can find the information below. We will see you next time, everybody. Stay strong, be about your business. It looks like everybody's doing great. Everybody had great cards. The debate, I think that Trump is going to be so badly slaughtered in the debate that he may not want to debate Biden again because Biden is going to be laughing at him. And when Biden laughs at him, it's a full-throated, the silliness of the man. Trump is making a mistake by debating Biden. Let's just put it that way, because Biden is going to wipe the floor with him. And the absurdity of who Donald Trump is something that I think will become apparent in the debate. All right. Light and love, everyone. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye. I wanted the next one to just be a full trance. I want to try and take the time to do a full trance remote viewing, because we haven't done something like that in a while. So I think that the next video will be about that. All right. Be well, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye.